Hey everyone, and welcome back. Star Wars, Jedi Knights, lightsabers, the Force. It's one of the most iconic stories of our time, right? We see these incredible masters wielding energy, moving objects with their minds, influencing others, seemingly tapping into something profound. Many of us grew up with these stories, and maybe felt that spark, that feeling that there's something more to it than just escapism. But we usually think, okay, cool movie, great fantasy. But what if that feeling, that intuition is right? What if the idea of the Jedi isn't just a bedtime story for kids or sci-fi fun? Could it be tapping into something real, something ancient? Is it possible in some way to become a real Jedi, not in a galaxy far, far away, but right here in our own lives? Let's take a deeper dive, not just into the movie magic, but into the surprising history and spiritual ideas that might have inspired it all. So it's pretty well known that George Lucas, the creator of Star Wars, was heavily influenced by the work of Joseph Campbell, especially his book, The Hero with 1,000 Faces. This isn't just fan theory. Lucas himself has talked about this connection quite openly in interviews. He even famously participated in the documentary series The Power of Myth with Bill Moyers, where they discussed Campbell's huge impact on the Star Wars saga directly. He didn't just borrow a few vague ideas. He consciously used Campbell's breakdown of the hero's journey, that universal mythic structure found in stories across cultures and time, as the foundational blueprint for Luke Skywalker's entire adventure, his path from farm boy to hero. Campbell's genius was seeing this pattern, the call to adventure, facing trials, meeting mentors, think Obi-Wan or Yoda, confronting the shadow, like Vader, achieving transformation and returning with wisdom. Campbell was a mythologist who studied these stories from all over the world, creation myths, initiation rituals, tales of gods and heroes, and found this recurring pattern. It's this blueprint for transformation, facing trials, gaining wisdom, and returning changed. Lucas used this blueprint masterfully. Now, Campbell himself was fascinated by myths and symbols from everywhere, drawing connections across seemingly disparate cultures. And one of the places he, like many scholars of myth and ancient wisdom, looked towards was ancient Egypt, or Kemet. He saw how these incredibly ancient cultures encoded deep wisdom about life, the universe, cosmology, psychology, and human potential into their stories, their art, and their symbols. So, the inspiration for the Jedi path already connects back to the serious study of ancient universal wisdom patterns, thanks to Lucas drawing directly from Campbell's synthesis of world mythology, which prominently includes insights from the Nile Valley. This is where it gets really intriguing, especially for what we explore here on this channel. Let's travel back to Kemet, that spiritual powerhouse in ancient Africa. We've discussed how Kemet wasn't just about pyramids and pharaohs. It was a civilization deeply rooted in understanding cosmic order, Ma'at, truth, balance, harmony. They had sophisticated knowledge of astronomy, mathematics, architecture, and what we might call spiritual science. Their understanding of consciousness, energy, and the afterlife was incredibly profound. Within this rich culture, they had this powerful symbol, the Djed pillar. Visually, the resemblance to a lightsaber hilt is uncanny, right? But its meaning goes so much deeper. The Djed represented stability, strength, endurance. It was closely linked to the god Osiris, representing his backbone, symbolizing resurrection, regeneration, and the enduring life force. Some interpretations even see it as an axis mundi, a world axis connecting the earthly and divine realms, perhaps even a conduit for spiritual energy or life force itself, a symbol of alignment and connection to source. And the name Jedi, is it just a coincidence? Maybe. It's unlikely Lucas was directly referencing ancient Kemetic language, but Campbell knew these symbols and their deep meanings. Could Lucas, inspired by Campbell's work, steeped in world mythology, including Kemet, have unconsciously or even consciously echoed this ancient symbol representing stability, alignment, and the mastery of life force? It's a fascinating thread to pull on. Was the Djed pillar, in part, a symbol for mastering one's own internal energy, achieving stability and alignment with the cosmic order, much like a true Jedi strives for balance and mastery over the Force? The parallels invite us to look closer. Okay, let's move beyond the visual and name similarities. What did the Jedi actually do? What was their essence? They were masters of energy. They felt the Force as an energy field connecting all living things. They could influence the weak-minded, move objects without touching them, have uncanny intuition or precognition. Crucially, they dedicated themselves to mastering their own inner world, their emotions, their focus, their connection to the Force. They weren't just warriors, they were disciplined monks, guardians of peace and justice through inner and outer balance. Now, think about the core concepts we often discuss, rooted in Kemetic and Hermetic wisdom. Doesn't Jedi mastery sound incredibly similar to applying these ancient principles? Let's break it down. The principle of mentalism, the all is mind, the universe is mental. This cornerstone of Hermetic thought, with roots in Kemetic understanding, suggests consciousness is fundamental. The Jedi's ability to influence minds, their focus on intention and awareness, it directly mirrors this idea that thought and consciousness shape reality. It's the foundation of manifestation. The principle of vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. The Jedi feel the Force, sensing disturbances, connecting through this underlying vibration. Modern physics agrees that everything is vibration. Understanding this principle is key to perceiving and potentially interacting with the energy field of the universe. The principle of polarity. Everything has its opposite. Light and dark, good and evil, positive and negative. The Jedi's struggle with the light and dark sides of the Force is a perfect illustration. Mastery involves understanding and integrating these opposites, maintaining balance, not necessarily eradicating the dark, but choosing the light consciously. The principle of rhythm. Everything flows out and in, everything has its tides. This relates to cycles, flow states, and even precognition, sensing the rhythm of events. A Jedi in tune with the Force seems to move with this rhythm, anticipating actions, finding the flow in combat and in life. The principle of cause and effect. Every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. This mirrors concepts like karma and destiny, which are woven throughout the Jedi narrative. Actions have consequences, and understanding this chain is vital for wisdom and responsible use of power. The principle of gender. Gender manifests on all planes. Masculine and feminine energies exist within everyone and everything. Achieving balance between these energies, action and receptivity, logic and intuition, strength and compassion, is crucial for wholeness, a balance Jedi strive for internally and externally. These aren't just abstract ideas. The Jedi's training, their focus on mindfulness, emotional control, and connecting to the Force, it's a practical application of these universal energy principles. Principles articulated clearly in Hermetic texts, traced back to Kemetic wisdom. They understood that mastering the inner world was the key to influencing the outer world. Their focus and intent, much like in the practice of manifestation, directed energy to create desired outcomes. The Force itself acts like a perfect metaphor for that interconnected energy field. The Akasha, the ether, the quantum field, the zero-point field. that ancient mystics and modern physicists alike describe as the underlying fabric of reality. So this brings us back to the big question: can we really develop Jedi-like abilities? Can we move rocks with our minds like Yoda? Well, maybe holding our breath for telekinesis isn't the first step. We are inventing incredible technologies using focused sound waves and magnetic fields that can levitate objects. Technology might eventually mimic many of these powers. But the ancient teachings, the Kemetic and Hermetic traditions, pointed towards something deeper: the untapped potential of human consciousness itself. They believed the disciplined mind, the aligned spirit, could interact with and influence reality directly. Think about accounts of yogic siddhis or advanced meditative states leading to extraordinary experiences, or even modern consciousness research cautiously exploring mind-matter interaction and psi phenomena. While controversial and often hard to prove scientifically, these persistent ideas hint at a potential within us that aligns with the Jedi archetype. As the saying goes, never say never. Maybe the focus shouldn't be on if we can lift starfighters from swamps, but on what potential these stories symbolize. Is the Jedi's power simply a sci-fi dream, or is it a powerful metaphor for the heights of human potential achievable through profound self-mastery? Mastery over our thoughts, aligning our emotions, understanding and directing our energy, recognizing our deep connection to the universal vibration. Perhaps becoming a real Jedi in our world isn't about wielding a laser sword. Maybe it's about embarking on that challenging, rewarding inner hero's journey. It's the path of seeking wisdom, like Campbell gathering myths, achieving profound emotional intelligence and balance, like mastering the light and dark, understanding the flow of energy within and around us, like feeling the force, living ethically and in harmony with the universal order, like upholding Ma'at and consciously tapping into that universal field of consciousness that connects us all. This path is ancient. Its echoes resonate from Kemet through Hermeticism and beyond. And maybe, just maybe, embracing that path is how we become the heroes of our own story. What does being a Jedi mean to you in a real-world sense? Is it the discipline, the intuition, the connection to something greater, the stand for balance? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for diving deep with me today on this exploration. If you enjoyed connecting these dots between ancient wisdom and modern myth, hit that like button, subscribe for more journeys into the hidden connections of our world, and let's keep exploring together. Until next time, stay curious, stay balanced, and may that universal energy be with you.